Well, howdy folks, Alcrex here, and welcome to episode 139. And today we're going to be delving once again into, well, a mech I'm not really a fan of, the Falcon, the 30-ton mech that, well, it wish it could. Well, the Falcon, it's one of those ones that is kind of making a resurgence because of the Wolf Dragoons. And it's not overly a great mech in 39 or the Star League era. And, well, let's just delve into it and see what we come up with the 3050 version. Alright, the Falcon, 30 tons, a 695, one short of the 39 book, or the Star League book. You're losing some mobility. Still has the same 12 heat sinks, at 96 points of armor. Okay, that's the same, I believe. And this is where we get into, which I think is slightly short, like half ton short of max, maybe a full, or three quarters of a ton short, I think it is, of maxing out. And then we have, for weapons, we got a medium pulse laser in the right arm. We have a small laser in the right arm, a small laser in the left arm. And we have an anti-missile system instead of machine guns in the left and right torso. No case at all. Then we have jump jets in the right torso, left torso, and center torso. Alright, so what do I think of this train wreck? Well, there you go. That's what I think of it. Moving on. It's kind of hard to say because in some ways I feel like it's worse off than the previous version in some ways, but it's better in another way. Let's kind of clarify that. Is that, well, all right, we got anti-missile system, which is kind of handy in case somebody's shooting missiles at you. Now you got a way of knocking them down some that are coming your way, but you kind of lose your sort of the anti-infantry mode, because if you can flip in the previous version, if you flip the machine guns to the front, at least if you got somebody in front of you, you can use the machine guns. If you got infantry in front of you, you can use the machine guns. Otherwise, you got to sort of do some finagling, torso twisting to get the arc right, so you can shoot at infantry with machine guns. So there's that. That's if you hit with them. So it's not overly a great upgrade per se. It's like it's one way or the other. You know, it's not a fan. It's sort of like a mech that they wanted to produce to make it and to sell it, but you know, you look at it on paper and go, huh, what can I do with this thing? In some of my discussions I've had over the time with other players, you know, it's like the 695. Obviously, it's going to have a hard time disengaging from some mechs. You get some mechs that, well, obviously 6.9 is pretty good for speed, and to me, 6.9 is sort of the lowest end of the spectrum when you want to come with a light mech to be able to get your maneuverability out there, get some modifiers, because light mech that wants to be a scout, if they don't have enough modifiers, they just get focused down and destroyed pretty quickly, unless they're using some type of pack tactics, or they're in a city fight where they can keep jumping around and keep the jump mods going and hitting people that way. So by taking off even one more pip, you're sort of decreasing your mobility a little bit. You know, when I always say I always like jump jets, is because I always like them because you can get over obstacles. A lighter mech needs to be able to get over obstacles, because if you're hemming them in, they need a way to escape, because you don't want your light mechs to get in a toe-to-toe fight. You know, they have to run and gun type thing. And when you take off even one pip of movement, with your jump capability, that's sort of getting you into a little bit of a problem. Now, what do I say about this one? Now you got a mech, instead of shooting at least 9 with one weapon system, now you only go 6. Alright, you got a better system because you can shoot, hit your target probably a little bit better if you're close enough, but with a pulse laser. But you're still going to have some problems because you're outgunned, outranged by about everything out on the board except for some infantry. Let's say battle armor infantry. Even then, they'll look at you and go, okay, let's give you some missiles or something like that. Which, obviously, you got the anti-missile system to take care of some of that stuff coming your direction. But all you got really is a couple small lasers and a pulse laser, which, your damage output isn't all that great. So even against infantry, like jump or battle armor, say against the clans, they're going to own you if you even get close to them. So what role does this thing really fulfill in the game other than being in a city or second or third line role of being behind part of the militia, watch guarding, armor, vehicles, infantry, that type of deal, where you don't want this thing even facing any type of substantial threat, let's say even of medium or heavy mechs. They'll look at that thing and go, that's going to be a snack pack, because they know they can tear it up pretty easy and pretty quickly, because it doesn't have the range to do anything with it. So there you go. Now, there is a couple variants from the coming out of the Blackwell Industries. There's the 4P, which is for general military market, and there's another one that's which is the 6C, which is for the Dragoons. The first one, known as the 5P, carries a medium pulse laser and a pair of extended range medium lasers and targeting computer. The anti-missile system was eliminated and the engine replaced with a light XL engine and for mass system, so the Falcon can now has a chance to pace the swifter modern Battlemechs in this weight class. Yeah, there is that, especially if you're facing against clans, which are going to outpace you even more. You're going to need something to get a burst of speed to either escape, get some distance from yourself, or close the distance quickly, because if you don't have any type of weapon systems that will shoot out there and get into a target, well, they're going to get tore to heck up really quickly. And clans, they look at this mech and go, okay, let's give it a few shots and swap it off the board. It's like sweep it up in a dustpan and there you go, it's no more mech. Now, the Dragoon version, which is a 6C, replaces the 12 standard heat sinks with 10 doubles, upgrades all of it to clan weapons. Okay, there you go. Now we got something that's a little bit better. So you're instead of a standard pulse laser, now you got a clan pulse laser. Yeah, at least you're shooting out to 12. These potent weapons are slave to a targeting computer. The medium pulse laser replaced with an ER large laser. Oh yeah, there we go. And small lasers exchanged for extended range versions. All right, and our armor has been upgraded to ferrofibers. There we go. Now, that's not a bad version, but now that we're looking in, was it the 68? Yeah, 65. That's 3065 era, when all those two mods come down the pipeline. So that's 15 years from now, and in 15 years, that's you may not be playing during that time frame. Now, if you're going off of what we're doing now, and you just happen to have a Falcon in your sitting in the stable, and you're going, well, there's all these new kinds of fangle-dangled new equipment out there that's coming down the pipeline. What can we do with this thing to make it a lot better? Well, there's two options. All right. We can go look at, let's say, option 1, which is the just taking the standard version, which was the 39, which is, I think, the 4N. And we're looking at that, so it has machine guns. We have, or you can have the upgrade version here, the 4P. All right, just let's say either or. Basically, they got the same kind of weapon systems and stuff. And instead of looking at that, let's just say we take the 4P, and first thing I'm going to do with it, give it double heat sinks. All right. And why do we do a double heat sinks? Well, it's going to add a little bit, because now you can dissipate 20 instead of the 12. And the whole reason I'm doing that, because I want those 2 tons off those heat sinks to do something else with it. And the first thing I'm going to do is, all right, with 2 tons, I might take 1 ton and upgrade those 2 small lasers to 2 medium lasers. So now we got a pulse laser and 2 medium lasers. Now at least you have something that shoots out a little bit farther. Instead of the 6, now you have something like 2 weapon systems that go out to 9. And all we've done was just changing the heat sinks. Second thing I want to do with this thing is give it ferrofibrous armor. And now that will jump us up a little bit more. Now we get a few more pips out of it. But now we are capable of adding something a little bit different to it. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, lost it. There we go. All right, so depending on where you're at, you can add on, like I said, we can upgrade 2 small lasers to medium lasers, and we still have the anti-missile system on there, but we can add in another medium laser. All right, so now we have, let's say, a pulse laser, 3 medium lasers, 10 double heat sinks. Not bad. And we with the ferrofibrous, we can upgrade a little bit more armor and go from there. So now another option would be to do this, is downgrade from the pulse laser to medium laser. Okay, so now we'll have 4 medium lasers, and then we can add on a Guardian ECM. Drop the anti-missile system for Guardian ECM. So there's something else you could do, giving yourself a little bit of what do you call it, protection bubble against like Artemis and stuff like that that's coming in your direction, or shutting down, let's say, a C3 slave network or something that's near you. You could use that for shutting that down. Now, speaking of C3 slave networks, there's an option you could do. Instead of having, we basically have room for more armor, or we can toss on a C3 slave. If you got a network system, you could use it for eyes and ears for a lance and put a slave on it and make it useful that way. So that's one. There's another option with it. Now, let's just say by chance you have access to the what do you call it, XL engines. All right, so we could go with XL engines. Let's just say, what does that do? Just take the 4P version, and if you put XL engines on it, With XL engines, you end up with 3.5 tons of space right there. And if you put ferrofibrous armor on it, now you're left with 12 open slots. Maxed out armor, 105. So yeah, it's about a half a ton difference there. So it was half a ton. So what we could do with 3.5 slots or 3.5 tons is put a ECM on. So if you got ECMs, that leaves you with 2 tons left over, and you could upgrade the small lasers to a medium laser, or let's just look at this. Upgrade the pulse laser. Yeah, there we go. There's what I'm thinking about doing. Let's upgrade that pulse laser to an ER large laser. Replace that. And then we could, instead of worrying too much about it, we could replace the 2 medium lasers. Alright, so you would have a 6.9. We got it. Here we go. Is you got a 695 mech. We haven't done anything with the jump jets, but you could put a large laser on it instead, and then you'd have a 2 medium lasers, a large laser, and then you would have an anti-missile system. But if you're looking at, oh yeah, I forgot to do this, double heat sinks, change those to, there we go, 10 double heat sinks. Yeah, we're still got a ton left, so there's where that, I was trying to remember where I was getting that extra medium laser. There we go. So now we have with XL engines, you got a 696, 10 double heat sinks, an ER large laser, 3 medium lasers, and an anti-missile system. So all you did was just put on XL engines. If you by chance had access to XL engines, you could turn around and make this mech a little bit better. Now, if you didn't have XL engines available and you're just standard, then you basically are kind of have to change a few things around here. You might have to start dropping systems off of it. So if you got rid of the anti-missile system and downgraded so now you're stuck with just a small laser, you would have an ER large laser, medium laser, and a small laser on a mech. That is a 696. It's a little bit more versatile, so now you have a mech that shoots out a little bit farther. So that's something to look at. There's a couple options. So overall, the Falcon is kind of a train wreck to begin with when you look at it. The 4P is still, I consider, a train wreck. That's probably one of the reasons why I really never spent a lot of time even looking at it, because I just looked at it and on the book and it was like, nope, don't want to even mess with it. Other than times I was playing in games, it was like, oh, here you go, here's one of your mechs you get to command, and it's like, oh yeah, thanks, appreciate it, and then try to keep the thing alive, and that usually doesn't work so well. But other than that, you got to basically do some finagling with it, and the first thing I would do is ferrofibers and double heat sinks and drop a couple tons off to be able to do things with it. And one of the first things you could do with the 2 tons is just up and try to upgrade that pulse laser to a ER large laser. Yeah, you're losing some shorter range stuff, but you're gaining a long range weapon system, so it might change its role a little bit more, and kind of opening up its bubble range of control, area of control. So before, it was not an interceptor, it's not an scout mech or anything like that. It's just basically a shoot and scoot type of thing. It's pure scout, spotter type mech, working with militia types to, if you put on something with a better weapon system then you have something that can reach out there a little bit and hurt something, especially lighter mechs. They're in the light class. So other than that, put down below what you think of it. I'm not too much of a fan of it myself, but with a few changes, with some new technology, you can turn it into something that is sort of useful. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk with you later. Hellcrex out.